Now we are on the letter E. Who is the author and what is the title?
Author is named Cyprian Ekwensi. He's a Nigerian writer. This is from that Heinemann series I told you about. So this was probably written in the 60s or 70s or something like that. Mm-hmm. The book is called Jagua Nana, and it's the story of an aging high lifer and habitué of the city club Tropicana, which is basically it's a story of Lagos, Nigeria, right after colonialism and the people in the city. He literally has a book also called People of the City. So because after colonialism, the whole urbanization thing, people of the city, a whole urbanization thing happened. I remember when I read this book, I was it's just good storytelling. And I think this woman was just a woman hustling, trying to make it, and in the city in the 60s, 70s of Lagos, whatever that was. And the story was just fascinating, and I was completely engaged in it. I don't even remember it very much anymore. But there's just endless books, endless stories. So if we're doing Black History Month, understand that Black people are millions and millions and millions of people, millions and millions of places, millions and millions of histories and stories, and so a woman hustler trying to make it in the 70s, that's Black history.
Can you say it one more time? Just really, I want people to understand what you just said, because I think
woman Jagua Nana in 70s Lagos at Club Tropicana trying to hustle through her life. That's Black history too.
Yeah.
So it's just a good story, and I pretty much picked a quote at random. I think he's describing a scene in which she is trying to, if you've ever been in an African country, public transport is these little vans, chocho, they call them Ghana,
tap.
Where you pack as many people in as you can before you go off on your journey in the little van. And so she's trying to get into a little van, but she's trying to assess which of the two vans is gonna go sooner, because they won't move the vehicle until it's full, right? So I think she's at a market, right? So she broke away from all of them and made straight for a brightly painted lorry with the sign, "Trust no man." And I mean, if you've ever been to West Africa or many African countries, all of their trucks and stuff have all these slogans. A lot of them are religious, but a lot of them are very philosophical, like "Trust no man" or "This too shall pass," stuff like that, brightly painted. It was quite interesting. So brightly painted lorry with the sign, "Trust no man." It was now a choice between "Trust no man" and "God's case, no appeal." That was the sign on the other lorry. But from what Jagua could see, God's case seemed a trifle more ready to set off than trust. She soon discovered her folly. The men and women seated on the benches in God's case had been hired to deceive. They were not travelers, but had been put there to fill the benches and to convey an impression of readiness to unwary travelers. Trust no man. She should have heeded the sign. One of the men seated in God's case got up to make room for her, and she never saw him again. The other men and women were no less ready to get down every time the toots hooked a new passenger and let him into the lorry. She sat there for hours, watching one bench warmer after another vanish into the market. She'd already paid her fare, and her money was well beyond her reach now. So she gets in the wrong lorry because they put people there to pull people in, and then those people were leaving, right?
Yeah.
But after I read it, I was like, this is a metaphor, because one van is called "Trust no man" and the other van is called "God's case, no appeal." And the God's case lorry, the people are sitting there deceiving her. So you could look at it almost as the lorries give you a philosophy of life, and which one are you going to choose? And I read what you will into it. But anyway, it's a story of survival and living in a modern African city, post-colonial, and she's on a journey, and that's no man. Or
I love this book so much. I'm so that one. If I don't find it, I'm gonna come to your house and read it.
These are hard to find.
That looks like it would be very difficult to find, especially at my close library. So I'm going to be on the hunt for that one.
Cool.
All right. So that was the letter E.
E is for Ekwensi, Cyprian Ekwensi.